everyone, and welcome back to Momentum, a podcast series by HirePro, where we uncover strategies that make hiring fearless. As technology transforms the fabric of our lives, it is revolutionizing the hiring landscape as well. However, with innovation, the risk of bias, misrepresentation, and manipulation grows. How can we ensure that human values like empathy, fairness, and transparency remain at the forefront? By integrating integrity into tech driven hiring, where we can ensure that innovation serves to amplify human potential rather than undermine it. It also presents an opportunity to reimagine the recruitment process with integrity at its core. In today's episode, we are joined by Mr. Harjeet Khanduja, Senior Vice President of Human Resources at Reliance Jio. Harjeet is an international speaker, author, poet, visionary, inventor, influencer, professor of practice, and an HR leader. He's an alumnus of IIT Roorkee and INSEAD. He's also known as the HR Mastermind and the RK Laxman of Business. Harjeet has been conferred with multiple awards in HR industry for his exceptional contribution. He has been a TEDx speaker, guest faculty at IIM Ahmedabad, board member of Federation of World Academics, member of CIHR IR Committee, and co-chair of NASSCOM Diversity Committee. Conversation with Harjeet focuses on the crucial topic of integrating integrity into tech-driven hiring processes. With us, he will share insights on how to strike the right balance between technology and integrity in hiring and what this means for the future of work. Welcome, Mr. Harjeet. It's a great pleasure having you here with us on our podcast today.
Thank you, Vani.
How are you doing?
I'm good. Thanks for having me here on your podcast.
It's our pleasure. Tell us a bit about your journey in human resources and why HR and not something else.
That's a difficult question. These are the things which your destiny defines. So it was not I who chose HR. Uh, it just happened. I passed out from IIT Roorkee, joined Tata Motors. In Tata Motors, there was no concept of that you have to work in this function only or that function only, based on your education. But I was an industrial engineer. I was asked to work on the assembly line. I did something on the assembly line. They said, wow, this is very good industrial engineering work. So why don't you go and work in the industrial engineering department? So I started working in the industrial engineering department. And industrial engineering department was actually reporting into human resources department. So I became human resources, part of human resources department at the very beginning of my career. And then they said, "Ki, Acha, you are working on industrial engineering. Can you take care of campus recruitment?" Uh, yeah. So you start helping. Then they say, "Okay, there is a ER thing going on. Can you help us in that?" So you do that. Then there is a training program. Can you take care of that? Yeah. There is a comp and ben discussion going on. So it is somewhere related to industrial engineering. So can you come along? That is how I learned human resources, and after that, I went for formal education on human resources. Actually, I had a chance, uh, means I was given a chance by Tata Motors that you want to pursue human resources or you want to get into any other business function. So I was given an option of production planning and control and human resources. I chose human resources. So then it was by choice because I realized that
That's
I have started liking the function. And I have spent almost 28 years in the function. So,
that is very impressive. Very interesting as well. So, how do you see the digital transformation that's taking place in HR over these years? Now that you've spent 28 years in the industry, right? And what role does technology play in defining the HR strategies?
Look, technology influences. Yeah, I will take you through the journey of this since beginning. Uh, like since my beginning, I have seen in 1990s there was a kind of a trend uh, that if you get into a job, then you remain in that job. It was because of environment, because
Yes.
one is the entire most of the jobs were there in public sector, and in 1990s private sector jobs started coming. But when they started coming, not everyone was becoming aware of what jobs are coming, because companies were publishing those vacancies, either publishing or not publishing those vacancies. So most of the vacancies were offered to the local people, and companies were not looking for that who is the best candidate for this, and can I get candidates from other states. So that was not the trend, and candidates were also not knowing where the opportunities are. When social media came, or when technology came, and platforms like Naukri emerged, that time candidates started knowing that okay, there is a vacancy in so and so company, or there are vacancies in multiple companies, and if we apply for those, maybe we have a chance. And that's how recruitment has improved, because um what started happening was, now HR guy, instead of focusing on that, okay, these are the 10 people I have in the locality, started looking at these are the skills I am looking at and whether those people are there or not. Now, there came a problem along with this, that when you have more and more people applying, then how do you choose? So, and then you get to a tool like HirePro. And I believe that would have been the thought of your founders. If there are too many applications, how do we make sure that which application actually is relevant or not? So that's when assessments started happening. In in that decade of 2000 to 2010, assessments were uh, happening, and based on those assessments, you were actually able to figure out which person is the right person for your organization. Now, over a period of time, candidates become smarter. So one person started taking tests for the other person. So then there was a need for proctoring. So 2010 to 2020, people actually focused on things like how do we make sure that the tests are relevant, people are taking online tests properly, then this proctoring and everything is working fine. Uh, there was a documentation issue. So people started collecting documents online, whether proxy recruitment is happening, not happening. Then came COVID. In COVID, what happened was suddenly that physical proximity or the physical flavor of the test, the people were thinking that we can do governance by calling people to our office. That factor also went away. So people started conducting video interviews and became comfortable with the video interviews. Even now, like we are chatting on a video. So this changed the behavior of people. This changed the behavior of organizations. Now, most of the people actually do AI-based assessments, um, because these Gen I tools have come, ChatGPT has come. So you ask a question, uh, the other person can open the ChatGPT and answer your question instead of actually knowing the answer or not. So you don't know whether the person has knowledge of the subject or not. And that's when the tools became, the HR tools of assessment had to become even smarter, that you can't open any other window on your uh, device, or uh, there are a number of restrictions that if I take my face off, the entire thing stops, and how many times you're doing that, based on that you cancel the assessment and things like that. There are many developments which have happened in this area itself. And second is based on face recognition, you started identifying that whether people are doing proxy interviews or not. And um, that's how recruitment has evolved as a function because of technology, because of this advancement in technology. I would say technology and connectivity and artificial intelligence, all these technologies have helped uh, in maturing the recruitment process, especially the assessment side of it.
As you were narrating the journey of how technology has enhanced the entire recruitment process, my next question is, today we live in the pinnacle of technology with AI. So, Mr. Harjeet, do you think AI is a threat to recruiters in their job?
Look, it totally depends upon how you see recruiter's job. If you're thinking that recruiter's job is to open Naukri and download resumes from there, then definitely this is the job which is not going to be there in the same shape and form. Because there are AI tools which actually go to your database based on whatever job description you have, job description or skill and competencies and the criteria you have. They actually find the right candidate and show you the top 10 candidates, that which candidate. They also do the interest check of those candidates. So you don't require manual intervention for this entire thing. So if that is the job will go away. But more than AI, it is the business model which is the threat for recruiters' job. So AI is going to be help to recruiters. It is the business disruption we should be more careful about, and there also AI is going to help.
So, as much as we do, are talking about companies who have reduced and who've simplified recruiting, I think even today we have companies with large employee strengths who are often engaging in high volume hiring. So, particularly at the freshers level. So, what are the unique challenges and opportunities associated with recruiting freshers in large numbers?
Look, the scenario has changed. You would not have asked this question, say, 5 years back, or maybe you would have. But the answer 5 years back and now has changed. It is because of the change in the environment. Suppose earlier you wanted to have dinner at house. What will you do? You will go to a supermarket, or you will go to a hotel, or you will go to a supermarket, buy stuff, come home, and cook yourself. Now, if you feel like having dinner at home, you're not going to go to supermarket. You will go to Swiggy and you will order. So that's what is happening. Most of the people now want cooked meals. That okay, can I get a fresher who is ready to do my business? Because then I can scale quickly. And that is an opportunity in this market. Second is, if you hire freshers in your organization, it gives you a chance. Freshers you can mold based on your culture, and then they stay longer. The retention rate of your company is much, much better with freshers. So that is a challenge. If you want it your way, then uh, mm, then you will have to train them yourself and invest time in their development. Uh, and if you want somebody to just come and work for you and you are looking for something ready-made, you pay higher. And if you don't like the taste, you you bear whatever is there. That's my perspective.
Okay. So, in continuation with the same topic, right? Now that there is high volume hiring of freshers, how do companies balance the speed and quality in their recruitment process during high volume hiring? And how does technology contribute to optimizing these processes with respect to AI powered tools, automation?
So, um, frankly speaking, this is a debate which has been going for a number of years. We generally think that whenever speed is high, the quality goes down, whereas that
Mhm.
is not the case. If we are saying that the speed of something will increase, then the experience will go down. Let me give you example of have you uh, traveled recently? Say,
Yes,
uh, so have you used DigiYatra at the airport?
yes, yes.
How is the experience in DigiYatra?
Um, it is smooth.
It,
It's easier.
it's quick.
Yes,
So instead of standing in the line for 15 minutes,
yes,
like within a minute you are in.
yes.
So that is that is how technology impacts. So it is not only technology, uh, it is how you simplify and how you automate the process. Look, earlier, and speed is
Mm,
something which you can't avoid in this kind of environment.
yeah, true.
Earlier, pizza used to come in 30 minutes.
Mm,
Now everything comes in 30 minutes or even less than 30 minutes. You call it
yes.
Blinkit, you call it Swiggy, Instamart. Everything is available just as you want. So speed of the environment is increasing. So there is nothing
Mm,
wrong in thinking that the speed of the recruitment process should also be high, and we should be hiring uh, high volume of people, uh, and that is very much possible without compromising on quality.
So now shifting a little bit towards the candidate's experience. So we need to ensure that a positive candidate experience is created, especially during high volume hiring campaigns. So what approach does the HR team could take, uh, to achieve this? How could we go ahead and achieve this?
I wrote a book very recently. It is
Mhm,
called HR Mastermind.
mhm.
In that book, I have explained this in detail in case some people want to get into that, how to do it. It is called
Mhm.
designing the experience.
Okay.
So it depends upon how you design the experience
Okay.
and how well you execute it. Now, let me give you an example that how experience is designed. You have heard of Kingfisher Airlines?
Yes.
Kingfisher designed their experience that you are
Yes.
going to have, say, what comes to your mind when you hear Kingfisher,
A lifestyle, the way you live, luxury.
right? So when you
Yes.
go there, there will be a TV screen on that. Uh, Somebody is going to talk about that how you should put your seat belt, and it is not the air hostess who is telling you that you're going to be served food, and food will be fancy, it will taste good, and things like that,
Yes.
right? So you are treated uh, uh, like it is luxury. So the
Yes.
experience was designed on luxury.
Yes.
Then came Indigo. Indigo has also created an experience. Now, if you see, the turnaround time of Indigo planes is literally half an hour. Uh, you see their ramps. Instead of steps, they have put ramps. Uh, that makes their process faster. They don't promise you luxury, but they give you an experience that if you get inside the plane, you will reach wherever you want to reach in time. We are going to be professional, and we will make sure that you reach in time, and we will be affordable. That is their value proposition, and they have created experience around that. Instead of providing you any luxury, you have to buy your own food. You can't think of luxury, but that is also an experience. Now, depending on what your value proposition for candidates is, you should define your experience. And once you define your experience that way, then you're a winner.
So, now with respect to the key criteria and assessments, so what key criteria and assessments should the HR team be, should be using to evaluate candidates during high volume hiring scenarios?
Your basics should be correct. So when I say basics should be correct, suppose you are driving for Uber. Will
Mm-hmm.
you hire somebody who doesn't have a driving license for a driver's job? You should not.
No.
And that is the most critical thing. So instead of looking at whether you are educated or not, uh, I will tell you a story. I met a Uber driver. He was like
Mm-hmm.
65 or something.
Oh, okay, wow.
So I asked him, like, why are you driving Uber? He said, sir, I was doing a job. I was retired, but my responsibilities did not retire. And these guys are so good. They did not ask me my age. They looked at my driver's license and they gave me the job. Now, you're you're seeing here the criteria of making sure is that the basic is correct. The person is able to drive, and I'm giving you a job based on that criteria. If you are right on that criteria, one is all your discrimination, which you were talking at the beginning of the conversation, actually goes away. Second important thing is that I, you are putting somebody in touch of your uh, customers. So you have to take care of safety of your consumers or customers. So what
Yes.
you should be doing is doing a proper
Mm-hmm.
background verification.
Yes.
Um, Actually, Uber is the company which missed it in the capital region itself, and there was a mishap which happened. And after that, company also learned a lesson
Mm-hmm.
because their business was down, was closed for quite some time. So those are the basics you should be taking care of uh, uh, whenever you are um, doing assessments, and that should be a criteria. You should not be putting your customers at risk, and you should make sure that whatever is the qualification for the job that is being met, either through a certification or through proper assessment.
As much as the criteria and assessments and the verification is important, now from the candidate's perspective, maintaining consistency and fairness in the selection process is challenging, especially with a larger volume of applicants. So how do we go about and address this challenge?
It is actually very simple. Uh, mm, you should have, um say, proper job description. That what is that you are looking for. So candidates are also clear, you are also clear, and you are clearly writing that this is what I need. Second is whatever you have written based on that, you do proper screening. Uh, and your selection tests should be uh, around that material, whatever competencies you are looking at. And if your process is strong and is digitally enabled, then you will be able to maintain fairness in the selection process. Uh, that is the that is the basic criteria. And the people who are going to evaluate your candidates, you must make sure that they are trained well. Many companies use AI-based evaluations also. So you first do tests, do video interviews and video AI evaluation, and then you put somebody for a physical interview. So if there is something uh, which should be seen, that is seen by these assessments, and after that you're meeting the person who is selecting. So and this entire process, like I said, um, um, in hiring mastermind, I have detailed out this process, uh, how this process should be done. Uh, you can refer to that.
Sure. The next question, Mr. Harjeet, is what strategies do HRs employ to onboard and integrate a large cohort of freshers effectively into the organization? And how does technology facilitate this process of onboarding as well?
Your answer actually sits in your question itself. So you have to onboard and integrate. How do you onboard? So जैसे वो होता है ना, विवाह होता है, like, and then there is सामूहिक विवाह. That is the only difference. Process is just the same. You just have to make sure instead of dealing one to one, you have uh, say one is proper communication channel because you're dealing with multiple people. So use a platform, either Teams or WhatsApp, so that you can communicate with all the people who are joining in the large numbers, or uh, you can if they want to reach out, they reach out, ask questions, clarify things, and in mass they are learning, and you are creating the baseline for them. Then you would have seen that most of the organizations which hire in large numbers ask people to go through certain set of courses on OTT platforms or MOOC platforms, mm, or they can create their own videos and ask the people to go through those videos. Then assign them mentors or handhold them for some period, do induction properly, and take assessments and make sure whether they are ready for the role or not. Otherwise, these things are taken care of by the hiring manager. In this case, you take some responsibility of the hiring manager and make sure that you deliver the same quality of rigor which hiring manager would have taken the person through, so that you are able to provide a consistent experience to all the people and give a similar kind of quality to the organization also.
So you say it is the equal amalgamation of both, the HRs and the technology.
Right.
So, looking ahead, what trends do you foresee in the future of high volume hiring, and how are the organizations preparing for these changes?
Look, I think in the future, hiring will become certification based, especially for the high volume roles.
Okay.
So, suppose you are hiring for a coding position, you will ask people
Mhm.
that you come with the certification, and if you have done the certification from, say, a platform which is of repute, which does, say, proctor tests and things like that. So, if you give me that score, uh, I'm not going to conduct an interview, and that is the trust organizations are going to have. For that, organizations will have to clearly define their job roles. That, okay, this is the job role, and for this job role, I need these two or three certifications. And I think the way economy is going, uh, even traditional organizations are going to have gig flavor. They are going to start paying based on productivity.
That's insightful. Finally, what do you think lies ahead when we talk about technology adoption in HR?
One is technology itself. If you see how actually entire uh, earlier there used to be a Nokia phone. From Nokia we saw BlackBerry, and from BlackBerry we saw iPhone. So this was the change in technology, how somebody looked at the devices and said what is good for people, which people have not imagined. So a lot of innovation is going to go in. So this innovation can be either from the people who are making the technology, and that will uh, improve the adoption because things will become simple, things will become intuitive. Look, iPhone was successful because it was intuitive.
Yes.
Nokia was successful because Nokia को कहीं भी गिरा दो,
Huh.
it will not break.
Great.
And
Exactly.
today you look at combination of both these things, that even if you drop your iPhone now,
Yeah.
chances are it will not break. So
Yes.
that's how things move, and somebody will have to think through how technology will become simple, how it will become intuitive, and how it will become robust. And
Right.
that will increase the adoption because we as human beings, हम लोग तो सुधरने वाले हैं नहीं, हम लोग गिराएंगे भी सही और हमको सब
Yes.
इंट्यूटिव भी चाहिए. So
Yes. Exactly. So, Mr. Harjeet, what is that one tech innovation you're waiting to see in HR or talent acquisition?
look, frankly speaking, if I would have thought about it, I would have filed a patent on it. Mm. Uh, yeah, but there is something in my mind and which I want to see. That is
Mm.
like the way data lakes are being prepared, and this is dream of every HR guy, that by looking at the data of various parameters which are there in the personality of an employee or environment of an employee, can you tell me who is the most productive employee for a job? What is the profile for the right employee? So if through ML we are able to do that at least for few jobs, that uh, like as an individual you would also want to know what you are best at and which job you will do where you will excel and you will kill it. So from company side as well as from individual side, this is something which is going to help, and I'm sure this is going to happen in near future.
We are hoping for
Hmm.
the same too. Just one last question. So, looking back at your career, which has been so bright and which has been so, I would say, fruitful, so many experiences, do you recall any instance where you wish you could have addressed it better had there been a relevant tech innovation
All the
or
time,
intervention?
all the time.
Mm-hmm,
I feel
mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
like when I joined, my first question was, why do we do tests manually? Why don't we
okay.
have online system? And I was the first one to
Mm-hmm,
implement an online system for recruitment. I was in industrial engineering and I was implementing system for recruitment. I coded it
mm-hmm,
myself, did it on Excel, created, wrote some macros, and then created a system and implemented it. And that's how my journey started. When people were doing TMS, uh,
mm-hmm.
so why are you doing TMS and pen and paper? That was my problem.
Okay.
Now also when people do PMS and
Mm-hmm,
somebody gives them feedback
mm-hmm,
that okay, these are the 4 training programs you should do. Why
mm-hmm.
can't they directly go from PMS form to the LMS and they
Mhm.
get assigned to the individual. So
Mhm.
somewhere it happens, but this is not available uh, as a package solution. I think
Right.
it should be available as a package solution, and there are hundreds of things because
Mhm.
if you are dissatisfied about certain things, then only you can innovate.
Mhm. It's been an immense pleasure having to share this podcast and this conversation with you, Mr. Harjeet. Thank you so much for contributing to our momentum series. Thank you.
Thank you, Vani. Thank you for having me here. And to tell you, I have not achieved much. There is a lot to achieve in life. So, life is a journey, and all of us are students.
Yes.
That's what I believe in. So, there is a lot to learn for me.
That's very humble of you, and it's our pleasure. Thank you, dear listeners. Do not forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel for more insightful conversations like this. Thank you.